BK Academy of Chess presents the opera game, a legendary chess miniature. The game was played in 1858 at an opera house in Paris between Paul Morphy and the partnership of two strong amateurs, the German noble Duke Karl of Brunswick and the French aristocrat Count Isouard. The game started with e4, e5, knight f3, d6, the Philidor defense, a solid, though passive choice for black, as it immediately blocks in the dark squared bishop and it ignores the classical style of fighting for the center d5 square. However, this opening is still seen at the Grandmaster level. For all you Chess.com Diamond members, Grandmaster Melexit Kachayan showcases this opening in an amazing game of his in the video, Meeting Grandmaster Kachayan, Material Imbalance. After d4, black strayed from book theory with bishop g4. This move helps to support the e5 pawn by pinning the knight to the queen. Right? Wrong. Morphy jumped all over the opportunity to punish black by playing d takes e5. Because after d takes e5, white has queen takes d8, and now black cannot castle after king takes d8, and even worse, the knight is no longer pinned. So after knight takes e5, white is up a pawn, threatening black's bishop, and to fork the king and rook. So after d takes e5, black tries to fix things with bishop takes f3, so that if white takes the bishop with queen takes f3, black can safely take the pawn with d takes e5. Now black is looking much better. Right? Wrong again. Black may have saved the pawn and can still castle, but white is attacking the vulnerable f7 pawn. In the opening, the f2 and f7 squares are guarded by the king only. So it's important to take all precautions necessary to ensure that these squares do not become exposed. And look what we have here. The queen is breathing down the king's neck with a direct attack against f7, and to make matters worse, it's white's move and you know what's coming. Bishop c4, threatening to checkmate. So black plays knight f6, to guard the pawn by blocking the queen's path, but now white has some tactics. For the most part, identifying tactic comes with experience and practice in recognizing patterns and positions. Usually, tactics fall under one, or a combination of, the following 5 elements: absolute pins, partial pins, double attacks, double checks, and discovered attacks. Double attacks can be identified by keeping an eye on hanging pieces, pieces without adequate support, and pieces on critical squares, squares that have equal number of attackers as defenders. For example, if you were playing white and noticed the b7 pawn is hanging and the f7 pawn is on a critical square, try to find a way to add pressure to both points. Morphy finds a way with queen b3. Black responds by supporting the f7 pawn with queen e7. Instead of taking the b7 pawn, Morphy played knight c3. It is said that Morphy preferred the quick development to winning the material, looking for a quick checkmate so that he could get back to enjoying the opera. Plus, the game was gaining much attention, and winning on a blunder, picking off the pieces one by one would have been boring. Like an opera, Morphy may have been looking to entertain the spectators by ending the game in grand fashion. The game continued with c6, bishop g5, in the attempt to alleviate the pressure on f7, black played b5, however, this gives rise to a spectacular tactical combination leading to mate in 8, but Morphy has to sacrifice everything except for the 2 pieces needed to checkmate black. It's not a force mate, but black tries to save its queen, leading to mate in 8. The combo starts out with a knight sacrifice, knight takes b5, c takes b5, to give check with bishop takes b5. Black blocks the check with knight b, d7. Now notice how both of black's knights are pinned. Morphy continues by castle queenside, adding pressure to the d7 knight, threatening to win the queen. And black calls in the reinforcements with rook d8. But it's not enough. Because after rook takes d7, using the pin, Morphy threatens again to win the queen with rook d1. Black calls in its final reinforcement to guard against the onslaught aimed at d7, by playing queen e6, to unpin the knight. After all, the knight was pinned to the queen. However, sometimes pins go deeper than just one level. Notice the critical square on d8. The attack on d8 is hard to see, because it's like an X-ray attack. The picture will soon become much clearer. So Morphy continues with bishop takes d7, and black plays knight takes d7, to save its queen. However, white now has mate in 2. But he must sacrifice his queen. Can you see it? If white can get his rook to d8, it's mate. Now you see it. Morphy sacrifices his queen with queen b8, forcing knight takes b8, opening the d-file to checkmate black with rook d8. Thanks for tuning into BK Academy of Chess, where together we build, and over the board we even the score.